Operation video for Anyscan Ultrasonic Flaw Detector. Operating manual. USB flash drive, data cable. Angle probe, a 5P99K2. Straight probe, N12 5P20. Charger. Probe cable. Host. Let's begin with the startup inspection. Before starting, familiarize yourself with the function of each button. Starting from the left, this arrow button adjusts the gain steps. dB plus and dB minus buttons control the gain level and can also synchronize the waveform size. If the waveform is too small, we can increase the gain. These two buttons are for page up and page down. This button is the freeze button. Press it to freeze the entire screen. Press again to cancel the freeze. Bottom row of buttons, each small button corresponds to a function selection on the page. Right side buttons, each small button corresponds to a function on the page. Plus button for increasing values or confirm selection, minus button for decreasing values. Straight probe usage. Now that the introduction is complete, let's proceed with the straight probe test. Before testing, take out the probe and connect the probe cable. Connect the probe. Either end can be connected to either interface. The two interfaces of the instrument can be connected arbitrarily. Just plug and twist. After connection, the first step is to check the probe model. For example, this is N1 to 0.5P20. Press the page up or page down to navigate to memo. Enter CHN ID and check if the remarks matches the probe name. If not, when the CHN ID turns yellow, press the plus or minus buttons to adjust until the remarks matches the probe name. After selecting the probe parameters, navigate to CHN recall until it turns yellow, then press plus to confirm. This operation is for probe data retrieval. Once the probe parameters are loaded, press page up or page down to find basic, then range. The range must be larger than the workpiece being tested. For example, if the workpiece is 110 mm, set the range to 120 mm to and 150 mm. Note, the range must not be smaller than the workpiece. For example, 100 mm is unacceptable. After setting the range, we can begin the straight probe test. Apply coolant before testing. Once the probe is selected, start the inspection. A bottom wave should appear at the lowest point. To confirm it's the bottom wave, adjust gate A. Set the starting point using the plus or minus button to enclose the waveform. Here we'll show the bottom of the test block at 110 millimeters. To check for defects, observe whether there are any irregularities between the initial and bottom waves. Move the probe to observe a good state. The waveform should be very smooth. Now, move to a defective area. We can detect 2 holes. The first hole, the second hole. To read the positions of these holes, adjust the starting point of gate A. To enclose the first hole, it shows 39.73 millimeter. Enclose the second hole, it shows 79.31 m value of SA. This positioning tells us where the defects are located. For the straight probe, the key adjustment is the range, which must be larger than the workpiece. Use gate A to enclose the waveform you want to read. Angle probe usage. Now, let's proceed with the angle probe. The connection method is the same. The angle probe parameters are 5P99K2. Follow the same steps. Press the page up or page down buttons to navigate to memo. Select the CHN ID until it turns yellow. Find the remarks with a 5P9 by 9K to matching parameters. Navigate to CHN ID until it turns yellow, then press plus button to confirm. After confirmation, navigate to Basic and set the range to around 100 mm to 120 mm. Then, input the thickness with actual workpiece thickness. For example, if the wall thickness is 10 mm, input 10 mm. We can begin testing. Apply couplant. Apply couplant. This is a good condition. No defect waves appear, indicating the weld is in good condition and the welding is perfect. Slowly scan the area to check for defects. We can see that at this location, there is a defect. When a defect is present, a high wave suddenly appears. Use gate A to enclose the waveform, and we can determine the defect is located 9.2 mm in front the probe and 9.11 mm downward from the probe or surface. This means there is a crack near the pipe bottom. Continue scanning in a zigzag path. This area is good. Key points for angle probe usage. Input the actual workpiece thickness. Set the range to around 100 mm to 120 mm. Use gate A to adjust the starting point and enclose the corresponding waveform. This completes the guide for using the angle probe.